Hot is an understatement. It's hotter than the seventh circle of hell outside, even at 7 o'clock. I'm already tired of summer. Can we bring on fall already? This is getting out of hand. Happy Tuesday to everybody. Welcome to the ACC show. And great news, we actually have some college football to talk about tonight. And for every ACC show until football season starts, every single year that we've been doing the ACC show, which I can't even remember what year we started. I think it might have been 2020. I think it was 2020. You know, that year. Everybody's favorite year. Anyway, every year we've done this, we've had a hard time finishing all of the teams before the season starts. So I have a plan in place to hopefully get them all done before, well, at least before week 1. I can't promise before week 0. We'll be lucky to get it done before week 1. And to make matters even more difficult than they already were, as far as the time constraints are concerned, the ACC has 3 new teams, so that's 3 more teams to do predictions for. So, anyway, we'll give it the old college try, no pun intended. Tonight we're going to start off with a couple of North Carolina teams. I was trying to figure out who to start with, and this really doesn't matter. You know what I mean? But anyway, I picked 2 teams in the great state of North Carolina. The one and only UNC Tar Heels, and my favorite team, or least favorite team, in the ACC, the NC State Wolfpack. Who everybody's very high on, and actually, after looking at their roster and their schedule, there is reason to believe that NC State could have a good year. I hope everybody, including myself, is wrong about that. But they've done some good things as far as the transfer portal is concerned. Again, we'll get into all that once we start talking about the games here. I'm going to give a couple more minutes for our boy Sea-Dog to come on if he's coming on. I think he is. Yeah, Sid Irish said summer sucks. I have to agree with that. When you're school age, whether it's elementary school, middle school, high school, or even college, the summer is amazing and fantastic. The older you get, the more the summer sucks, especially if you have kids. Let me tell you something. About an hour ago before the show started, I got a call from one Traveling Fools as something pertaining to the Slav Olympics cruise. And my wife was on a work call, so I had to go outside on the back porch to take the call. And I don't know, we were on the phone for maybe 5 or 6 minutes, maybe total. For 5 minutes, I walked back inside looking like I just ran a marathon. I need to take a shower. Spank Mapleton says, when people are pretending to watch baseball, you know we're down bad. Well, hey, there is some truth to that. Casket! There is some truth to that, although I'm not pretending. I'm actually watching it. But I'm not watching it because I love the game of baseball. I'm watching it because I'm betting on it. That's a different thing. But either way, I'm still watching it. Well, I'm watching what's available to me, which isn't a whole lot. I don't know, there's probably an average of what? I guess it depends on what part of the country you live in, because there's the Major League Baseball TV contracts are some of the most complicated in all of sports. I mean, almost every single college football game that matters is televised each week. The same is not true for Major League Baseball. It really depends on where you live, what cable or streaming or dish service you belong to. Of course, everybody knows I have Hulu TV, the streaming service. And I'm lucky to get 3 or 4 games a day. All right. We won't waste any time here. We're gonna need every bit of this hour and a half or 2 hours or so to do what we gotta do. So I'll go ahead and cut this music off, get this thing started. Give me about 30 seconds. All right. Let's turn this off. Welcome to the show, everybody. Sea-Dog, you there?
Yo. What's up?
What are you, Hawk-2-ing over there? Or what?
I like choked on my own spit.
Yeah, that's basically a Hawk-2, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome to the ACC show. I texted Sea-Dog there was no show last week. That was my fault. I wasn't available to be there. But I did mention to him we got to start doing our schedule or a record rather previews if we're going to try to get done before the season starts. Have we ever got fully done on any season so far? I think we've always missed like 1 or 2 teams.
No, I think we've squeezed it in before.
Maybe,
pretty sure.
Maybe in 2020 we did because everybody was trapped in their house with nothing better to do.
Yeah.
But I think the last couple years there might have been 1 or 2 teams that got left out, and to our dismay, There's 3 more teams to add this year.
Yeah.
3 more teams. So I figure we better get started now. If there's no more show cancellations. Now here, first of all, look. I know there's going to be at least 2 weeks where I won't be available between now and week 1. So that's 2 weeks right there. Let's count the weeks. Well, one of them we're going to on a family vacation for 4 days, and then the other week is Colby's bachelor party, and that's the first week of August. So that's 2 weeks right there. How many weeks do we have? Somebody in the chat, was it like 8 weeks now? I think it's 8 weeks.
I don't know, man.
Anyway, we'll get done what we can get done. I decided today we're going to start with a couple of North Carolina teams. I didn't know where to start, and there's really no good place to start or not start, so I figured we'll do the first 2 North Carolina teams today, or 2 of them. North Carolina.
Also, a little disclaimer, if you're a fan of a team and you want us to do it, then, like, let us know, you know? Because if we have to sacrifice like Cal or something,
that's a fantastic idea.
We're going to, but like, well, we'll try to get to all of them. But if there's like a Cal fan watching that wants to hear our opinion, then let us know because we might not get to you otherwise.
If I were smart, which I'm not, I would say you send in a donation through PayPal, Cash App, or Super Chat, and let us know which team you want us to do next week, and we'll do those teams. That's probably the way I should do it. Anyway, we're going to start off with North Carolina and North Carolina State. Today, we'll work our way through the ACC and see what happens. Before we get into the football, though, I do want to make a quick announcement, very quick announcement. I mentioned that I got a call from Traveling Fools today, and he wanted me to mention this on the next few shows anyway. If you have booked a cruise but not reserved your room, this is where it gets confusing. Because all you had to do to book the cruise was put down $25 per person or whatever it was, and that just makes sure that you're on the cruise with the slobs. That's all that does. That doesn't reserve your particular room. There's 3 different rooms. There's an interior room, an ocean view room, and a balcony room. And when he set this whole thing up, there was only a certain amount of each type of room available to book for the slobs. So now, the good news is that we have, I think, almost 50 people already signed up for the cruise. So that's great news. What that does, though, is the people that only put the very low deposit down but didn't reserve a room, all it did was get their foot in the door. There's the types of rooms are running out. So what I'm getting at here is if you've just put the minimum payment down and just got your foot in the door, but you don't want the worst room, the best thing you can do right now is go ahead and call and pay the extra $100 or whatever it is. Let me pull this up. Cruise info. Yeah. So the November 1st payment, if you look at the screen here, says another $100 per person is due. The extra $100, which goes towards your total, so it's not like you're paying an extra $100, it just goes towards your balance, actually reserves the room that you want. So unless you don't care about what kind of room you get, then that doesn't apply to you. But if you don't want the interior room and you want either a balcony room or an ocean view room, go ahead and call now and put that extra $100 down and tell them what kind of room you want. And that'll ensure that you're not stuck with the cheapest room on the ship. Because, like I said, they're running out fast. I don't know exactly how many are left, but it's not many. Did you do it yet?
Do the cruise? Yeah.
Yeah. How'd you do it?
I just followed the instructions on that like infographic thing that y'all made.
Yeah, but what I mean is, did you just do the minimum $25 to reserve it, or did you actually like book an actual room?
I booked a room. I paid like $300.
All right, so you're good. You're good. There's just a few. There's not that many people. Most people did that. There's a few people that just put down the very minimum, which is fine. That ensures you're on the cruise. It just doesn't ensure which room you get. I think the thing was we lowballed this. We didn't. I say we. Me, Lou, and Fools. But Fools is the one that's been really doing all the legwork as far as talking to the cruise company and getting everything squared away and relaying that information to us and all that. So shout out to him for that. But anyway, I think we lowballed it. We figured since it's a cruise and it's a destination type of event, unlike what we've done before, that we might see less people sign up, and it hasn't been that way. There's a lot of people that have interest in this.
Really?
Yeah. So it's a good thing. And also, if you didn't get in on the slob part of it, with the group name and all that, the slob booking, that doesn't mean you can't go on the cruise. You can still call and book the cruise for that date outside of the slobs and get whatever room you want, I think. Now, it might cost more. I don't know. That just depends. I think the rates change on a weekly basis based on how many people are booking or not. So you're not left out if you haven't booked it yet, but you might be subject to a higher cost. I don't know, or maybe even a lower cost. Shit, I don't know. But anyway, that's my public service announcement for the day. Let's go ahead and, first of all, let's see who's in here, and then we'll get right to the football talk. Here's the other thing I'm going to do. Typically, during these predictions, we have like a whole panel of people, which I do want people to come on. I'm going to limit it to 4, though. Do you think that's a good idea?
I mean, yeah, we haven't usually got a ton of people anyway.
Well, sometimes it gets to 6. When I say 4, I'm including me and you, so 2 other people.
Right. Oh, okay.
Because if we have a panel of 6, 4 people plus me and you, that. A lot of times we get to the end of the show and we still haven't got to the end of the predictions yet. So, in the matter of time, me, Sea-Dog, and 2 others is probably is what I'm looking at doing here.
Makes sense.
Yeah. But let's see who's in the chat real quick. If you want to come on, go ahead and do so. The StreamYard link is in the description of the video. Matt Dummett is here. Stingray Robert, Jeremy Garland, Wahoo Brad, Andy Hall, Sid Irish, Nature Boy, Dog Behind Enemy Lines, Jay Shipes, Zona Tucson 93, and Slim Shady Canes. All right. Let me pull this up real quick. We'll start with North Carolina. Give me a second here.
Hey, if you've got multiple people, I'm not going to be able to be on the whole time. I'm on my way to the hospital.
All right. Well, maybe I could. Well, just let us know when you have to go.
Yeah.
What are you going in the hospital for?
Joey's next surgery was today, and I'm just swapping out with my wife.
Oh, okay. Did everything go good or what?
Yeah, everything's fine.
All right, great. It's great news. When somebody says going to the hospital, you gotta. I mean, I just assume the worst. You know what I mean?
Right. My bad.
No, you're good. All right. So North Carolina, an 8-5 season last year. Now they brought in the quarterback from what was it? A&M, Max Johnson, I think it was.
Well, and they also got the backup from Florida too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. So I was reading up on this a little bit earlier, and of course, like every year, especially if you have multiple transfers, they say the quarterback competition's open. I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, it's not open. I'd be shocked if Max Johnson wasn't the starter in week 1. I don't know anything about the Florida guy, but I think that Max Johnson is their sort of their blue chip transfer that came in.
Now see, I actually have the complete opposite view. I mean, to me, we kind of know what Max Johnson is at this point. This is his third school. I'd almost rather take a shot on the young guy, even though he's kind of an unknown.
All right, Matt, we'll see. I mean, the guy's got like almost 6,000 yards passing, over 40 touchdowns in his career, and he wasn't even a starter for that long. So I don't know.
Well, don't forget, he was at, what was it, Alabama before he was at A&M?
Yeah, I think so. Mac Brown going into his sixth season on his second stint.
Yeah.
In North Carolina. Last year, a little bit underwhelming and disappointing for the Tar Heels. But it's a new year. I was about to say it's a new Mac Brown, but that's dumb to say. It's definitely not a new Mac Brown.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that this is gonna be terrible.
Yeah, that's right. He was at LSU, not Alabama. Anyway.
LSU, that was okay. Yeah. But well, you can call it a new Mac Brown. I mean, he's probably bigger than the last time we saw him.
Well, that's true for most Americans, honestly.
Well,
but I don't know. I'm actually surprised he's still coaching. And every year I feel like I say this is his last year, and I'm going to say it again this year. Eventually I'll be right, but I don't know. This guy might be he might be a Dan Snyder type, or that coaches till he's fucking 80. I don't know. He's 72 years old.
a possibility. I mean, he spent some time in a booth, so maybe he hated it, and he's like, I'd rather do this.
I mean, he's raking in $5 million. That's his annual salary at North Carolina is $5 million a year. So that's nothing to sneeze at a place like North Carolina in football. So I guess I don't blame him.
He doesn't need the money unless he's just, terrible with hookers or blow or whatever.
Yeah, I doubt he's terrible with either one of those. Otherwise, he wouldn't be living still.
Probably not.
But I don't know. He's still one of my favorite coaches of all time. I think he's probably... I think it's probably time for him to go, honestly. But he's still one of my favorite coaches of all time. I like him. All right, so we're going to get... hold on 1 second here. I just want to make sure. All right, looks like it's just the three of us right now, which is fine with me. That helps expedite the process here. All right. So August 29th, 8 p.m., primetime game. August 29th, what day of the week is that? Is that a Saturday or a Friday? The first 2 weeks are, well, I say the first 2 weeks. The week 0 and week 1, they have weird times and weird days. You see games all during the middle of the week, the end of the week, shit, even on Sunday. So I don't know exactly what day of the week that is. Thursday, Baylorman says.
I think that's Thursday, yeah, because Miami plays on Saturday, and that's the 31st.
Okay. So Thursday, August 29th at 8 p.m., North Carolina travels to, and I'm assuming they travel to, this doesn't specify whether or not it's a neutral site game, to Minnesota to take on the Fighting PJ Flex and rowing that boat.
I think they do travel to Minnesota. I think Minnesota came to them this past year.
A home and home deal. Gotcha. I'm going to be honest here. I don't know much about Minnesota's situation except for everything I've seen or read over the past 8 months, or 6 months at least. Is projecting Minnesota to be pretty bad this year. Now, somebody in the chat is probably going to tell me, Pete, you don't know what you're talking about. They got the best wide receiver in the country. They got the best with this or that. Okay, fine. As far as the Big Ten is concerned, I think Minnesota is picked to finish in the lower third, maybe even the lower fourth. I'm going to give North Carolina the win here on the road to start the year off.
I'm going to give it to Minnesota strictly because it's in Minnesota. Because I think everything you just said about Minnesota being in the bottom third of the Big Ten is probably going to ring true for North Carolina this year as far as the ACC. I think they're on probably fairly even footing.
That's a fair point. You might convince me to change my pick here because it is a road game to open the season, and it's halfway across the country. Minnesota's quarterback is returning, isn't he?
I'd be lying if I said I knew.
Yeah.
I don't know the first thing about Minnesota.
Yeah, that's the problem with this. I don't either. Partly because I just don't care.
We all came prepared for this, obviously.
Well, I mean, look, I'll tell you the past few years, almost or every year we've done this. Most of the teams that we've done these schedule predictions or record predictions on, we've gotten pretty close to most of them.
Yeah.
So
That's because our football genius isn't appreciated like it should be.
Well, welcome to my world. Baylor man.
I'm going to go ahead and say they lose to Minnesota.
All right, so we're going to give that as a big fat L. The majority rules. This is like the Senate. All right, so we're going to. Pete says a win for North Carolina. Both Slim Shady and Sea-Dog say a loss. So that's an L for the Tar Heels to start out the season. Not a good season start for them. And we'll burn right through these next two. So after that, they got 2 straight home games: Charlotte at NC Central. Can either one of you name NC Central's mascot?
No.
NC Central.
I can't either.
Oh, dear.
All right, so is there anybody picking them to lose either one of these games? 2 home games against lower classification teams. The Eagles, Baylorman says. Yeah, well, that would check out with the logo next to their name. That does look like an eagle. Kinda.
Yeah, I'll give them a W in both of those, presumably.
Sea-Dog?
Yeah, yeah, that's a win.
All right, so that's 3. That's a unanimous decision there. 3 votes for both of those. So that's 2 wins. So now, after 3 weeks, they are 2-1. Then they have another home game. So 3 home games in a row. This time, though, unfortunately for North Carolina, it's against a pretty good Group of 5 team who moved up from the FCS to the Group of 5 last year. James Madison at North Carolina. Does anybody want to step in here? Or do I have to go first?
I'm wondering if James Madison can pull that off 2 years in a row where they look that good.
Yeah, I'm giving North Carolina the win. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you that right now. So,
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at their next game, you could say that James Madison might be a trap game because the next week they have to travel on the road to play an in-state rival against Duke. But we haven't even talked about Duke yet or anybody yet. So, but anyway, it's still kind of a trap game. If they're looking ahead to 3 straight home games and they have to go on the road to play an in-state rival, I'm still giving it to North Carolina just based on talent alone. So I don't know. What do you think, Sea-Dog?
That's tough. Really tough. I'm going to say they lose to James Madison.
All right. Well, you're outvoted anyway, so it doesn't really matter. That's another win for the Heels. Now 3-1, which is a pretty good start to the season for the Heels based on what we know about them. But then again, like I said, they got to travel on the road next week to Duke. Now, Duke lost their entire defense almost, lost their head coach to Texas A&M, lost their quarterback. Yeah, I'm gonna give North Carolina the win here on the road too.
Well, you say that. Duke brought in a good quarterback. They brought in Malik Murphy, the backup from Texas.
They did. My issue with Duke is their defense.
Better than Max Johnson.
My issue with Duke is their defense. That last year, I think they had the most veteran defense in all of the ACC. And most of those guys are gone. And when you add on top of that the new coaching change, and not just the head coach, a bunch of coaches, and the quarterback, I don't know.
I think Duke will be a little scrappier against North Carolina.
Yeah.
Because even though Manny's not going to be obviously focusing on defense being the head coach, I mean, can you name 10 better defensive coordinators in the country right now?
I don't know about that, but it's still a change of the guard.
It is.
Yeah. So it's a whole new system. It's a whole new coaching staff. A lot of new players. I don't know. To me, I feel like Duke is going through a transition year. They had a great season last year. I mean, for all intents and purposes, I know it didn't work out the way they wanted to based off the way they started, but they still had a good season for Duke football.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, Mike Elko is one of only 3 coaches that have ever won 9 games at Duke. And one of the other ones was Steve Spurrier.
Right.
So, I mean, I tend to be with you because of all the change at Duke. North Carolina should win it. All I'm saying is I wouldn't be surprised if this game is close.
I agree with you there. I mean, it's a rival. I know it's more of a basketball rival than a football rival, but and we haven't even looked at Duke because we haven't looked at anybody yet. But let's say if North Carolina is 3-2 going into this game, like we had predicted. Was it? No, 3-1. Sorry. And Duke has a decent record leading into this. It could be a knockdown, drag-out fight between some rivals. So, but I'm still picking North Carolina. You got Duke?
No, I'm with you. I'm picking North Carolina. I'm
All
just
right.
saying, don't be surprised if this is a close, scrappy game.
Yeah. Well, I guess Sea Dog's vote is irrelevant anyway. We both got North Carolina. but who do you have?
Jeez. I think probably North Carolina in this one. I think Duke's going to be probably pretty bad.
I agree with you.
Yeah. Well, Brad says Duke is going to be better than you think. I don't know. Maybe.
I mean, listen, I've been hearing people peddle the same crap to me about Syracuse, and I'm not believing it. So
they were good last year. Duke was, but I mean, I don't know.
Well, like I said, their defense last year and their quarterback play was the reason they looked the way they did. It doesn't get any easier from here. Now, here's where they really start to come into some issues here. The first was at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games. Only 1 or 2 in there that you would really think would even be an issue or a concern for the Tar Heels. Now things change. So you got another home game for North Carolina against Pittsburgh. Of course, Pittsburgh last year, one of the most disappointing teams in all of the Power 5. Forget the ACC. What was their record last year? They didn't make a bowl game, did they?
I can neither confirm nor deny.
No, they were terrible. They were terrible. And they got to go on the road to play North Carolina. I'm giving another win to North Carolina here.
I think it's far more likely, in my opinion, that Pitt doesn't have 2 bad years in a row.
Yeah, Pitt.
3-9 last year.
They were terrible. That was the worst Pitt team in a long time, though.
Which, if you look over the past, I don't know, really even 10 years, that's kind of an anomaly year.
Yeah, they're not usually that bad. Yeah.
I don't see them being much better this year. I mean, I think they'll win more than 3 games, but I don't see them being that much better. I mean, what 5 maybe? So are we all taking North Carolina here at home?
I'm actually not. I'm taking Pitt.
Now,
yeah, that's a tough one.
I will bring up.
I could be completely wrong about Pitt. I'm banking on last year being an anomaly for Pitt.
Yeah.
All right. Last year, North Carolina was 6-1 at home. This game's in North Carolina.
I'm gonna go with Pitt.
God damn.
North Carolina's gonna suck, man.
So far, we got them 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's better than I thought.
So you say y'all are both picking Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
So that gives them another loss.
All right, loss. So 4 and 2, according to the geniuses on the panel here. Now, another home game. This must be backloaded with away games for North Carolina because yet another home game for the Tar Heels on October the 12th, this time against the one and the only Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets.
Oh, you already know. You already know what I'm picking. We own their mind, body, and soul, dude.
I agree with Sea-Dog, but I think this could be an interesting game. This could turn into a shootout because I think Georgia Tech's offense is going to be a little better than it was last year. But
our
listening to
defense
Rick,
is suspect, yeah.
Yeah, your defense may even be worse this year.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I think just based on the recent developments between these two teams, Georgia Tech right now has their number. And I'm just going to take Georgia Tech just based on that alone. And it's one of those things that, like, even if I think North Carolina has a chance, they need to beat North Carolina for me to believe that they, I'm with you. I think we're all in agreement here. I'm taking the Yellow Jackets in this game.
Hell yeah.
How many teams in the ACC have returning quarterbacks, and how many of them have there's a bunch of transfer quarterbacks in the ACC right now, but like half the league, at least.
Cade's returning. Is Boston College returning their quarterback?
I don't think so. Well,
shit, Cade may be the only returning quarterback.
No, Georgia Tech too.
Oh well, yeah, Georgia Tech.
I don't think he's the only one. I think. Let me think here. Virginia Tech, Clemson.
Because they put that freshman in last year.
Virginia Tech, Clemson, Georgia Tech. I don't know. What about Virginia?
Yeah, Virginia's the one I don't know.
We're SMU. I guess I'm thinking right now of the legacy ACC teams more than I am of the of the new ones.
They're not returning because they didn't play.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Well, that's true. That's semantics, but anyway, my point is at least half the league, or maybe more, is either a new freshman or a new starter or a transfer. Semantics. A lot of transfers.
I'm always up for semantics.
Yeah. All right. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 at 4 and 3 through 7 weeks. Moving on to North Carolina on the road at Virginia. Oh, God. This is easy for me. Is Virginia?
It's not for me. Virginia was scrappy last year. Like their record was bad, but they were in every game.
I want Virginia to have a good year because I'm a Tony Elliott fan, and I think that he's on borrowed time right now. I just can't pick them in this game, so I'm taking North Carolina.
I mean, and I'm trying to come up with reasons too. And I mean, it is true. Virginia was scrappy last year. They really didn't get blown out by really anybody.
And they did. Virginia did beat them last year.
Yeah, they did.
I don't think that matters, though.
Yeah, I just until I see different out of Virginia, I can't pick them to beat North Carolina.
So that's two. What do you think? What do you think, C-Dog?
Yeah, I'd probably give it to North Carolina here.
All right. So that puts them at 5-3 after 8 weeks. North Carolina at Florida State, November the 2nd.
I think FSU will clobber them.
Yeah.
I'm not high on FSU like some people, but I do still think they're in a much better position than North Carolina is.
Who's got the better quarterback?
Damn! Get out of here! Damn!
Are you talking to your cat or your wife?
Hey guys, I got kittens still. Anybody want some lovely kittens?
Yeah, I'll pass on that.
Dang.
That's a tough question because I would say Max and DJ are right about the same, and I think the stats kind of back that up. But we don't know who the starter is going to be for North Carolina, and that kid from Florida's kind of an unknown.
I'm going to let C-Dog go second here. So Slim says that Florida State's going to clobber North Carolina. What do you think, C-Dog?
This is so tough. Florida State for sure is going to kick their ass.
Yeah, that's three of us.
No doubt about it.
That's three of us. 5-4 now for the Heels. Luckily, they get after that game, they get to lick their wounds, and then they get to host Wake Forest. Oh shit! I'm definitely not going first on this one. Slim, what do you think?
Wake Forest was pretty terrible last year.
Again, that was an anomaly in my opinion.
They do not have a coaching change.
They don't. And North Carolina's going through another, and I don't know if we brought this up, North Carolina is breaking in yet another DC.
Yeah.
Gene Chizik be gone.
Should have been gone 2 years ago. That's a different point. But look, I'm taking North Carolina. I think North Carolina wins this big. I do.
No, I think Wake Forest is going to win.
Okay. Well, it's up to you, Slim.
I don't know. Wake Forest was bad last year. I trust Mac Brown more than I do Clawson. So I guess I'm a slight edge to North Carolina.
So I did pick North Carolina to win, although I don't know if I trust Mac Brown more than Dave Clawson. But I'm still picking North Carolina to win. All right, 2 games left. North Carolina on the road on November the 23rd at Boston College. I'm already seeing more wins on this North Carolina schedule than I expected us to pick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We already got them. They're already bowl eligible with 2 games left, according to us.
Yeah. And Boston College is another one breaking in a brand new coaching staff, a new head coach.
Yep.
I'm going to say loss.
You think Boston College wins? Now, here's the thing. This game is on the road in late November in Boston. The chances are weather's going to be an issue here, no matter what time of the day they play, especially if it's at night. But even a noon game, it's likely to be 40 degrees or lower.
Yeah, it was cold when Miami went to Boston College to finish the season last year.
Yeah. I'm actually going to take. I got to pick an upset here because I haven't really picked an upset. Well, maybe in my opinion, I haven't. I'm going to take the Eagles here in late November to put a hurting and a hampering on North Carolina's season. So give me the Eagles to upset. I mean, we don't know if it's going to be an upset at that time, but right now, on paper, it is. So, give me the Eagles.
Well, I guess my pick's irrelevant at this point then. I mean, that seems like a good place for one, and I'm actually kind of high on Bill O'Brien as a head coach. He did well in the NFL before he sank his own battleship.
I actually think he'll do a good job there, but again, it's his first year.
Yeah. I'd still have to go with North Carolina. With just Boston College was bad, and then Bill O'Brien's going to need some time to right the ship and hopefully not sink this one.
Yeah, Rooster makes a good point. BC did some good moves in the portal. I just think it's a little bit too early for that to matter. That's all I'm going with on them. I don't know. I mean, every year in the ACC, there's one or two teams that overperform or outperform what most people think, and maybe Boston College will be that team this year. I don't know. But
to that point, I've heard a lot of noise about Syracuse, and especially because hopefully we get to it. Syracuse's schedule makes Michigan's look like going through the gates of hell last
year. That is the team that nobody's expecting to look decent. That I think has a chance to look decent is Boston College. So, but I'm still picking them to win this game. So, 2 votes for Boston College, 1 vote for North Carolina in the game. That's a loss for the Tar Heels. What are we at now? 1, 2, 3. What are we at? 6 and 5. Last and not least, and I'll go last on this one for sure. The last game is North Carolina State. Obviously, it's a rivalry week. NC State at North Carolina on November the 30th.
I think NC State's going to be better than North Carolina this year. I mean, Dave Dorn aside, I don't think he's a nice guy, but I think NC State's going to beat Tennessee.
C-Dog?
Yeah, NC State got this one, dude. They own North Carolina like just as bad as we do.
My vote doesn't matter now that they both picked NC State, but in a shocking turn of events, I'm going to agree with both of you.
Wow.
That is crazy.
I figured just out of pure hate for Dave Dorn, you would pick North Carolina.
Yeah, but again, I think NC State is probably a 9-win team, and that's without us going through their schedule yet and picking out each game. So that might change when we do theirs. We'll see, but somewhere around there, somewhere around 9 games. I think they're a good team, and I think that North Carolina is a barely bowl eligible team, which according to us now, they're exactly 6 and 6. So that would check out. So there's the official prediction from the ACC show. 6-6 season on deck for North Carolina. Now, of course, if they won 7 games, would that be shocking? No, but I think once you start getting up around 8 or 9 game prediction for North Carolina, you're really just living on a prayer here at this point. Let me see. Can somebody pull up C-Dog? Can you pull up the Vegas win total prediction or bet for North Carolina? I bet we're somewhere around what they have predicted.
So, yeah, let's see. Over under. My wife just got here. North Carolina.
And just for the people listening, we're about to do NC State schedule as well. So I've seen so many people picking NC State to win the ACC this year. It's not even funny.
I don't know about all that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people saying it, though.
We all know Miami's winning the ACC.
North Carolina's an underdog.
There's no chance.
Underdog to Minnesota, by the way. So that's funny. I don't know why I pulled up the game rather than their win total.
Well, I was the only one that picked North Carolina to beat Minnesota. Both of you guys picked Minnesota to win that, so that checks out.
Well, of course, I'm a genius.
Well, yeah.
Of course, Vegas would agree with me.
No lack of self-confidence from Sea-Dog.
Yeah.
At least not until the halftime of games when he walks out and he's making his depressing videos on a park bench.
Our first game is against Florida State, so I'm sure that I'll be having a great time week 1 or week 0 rather. It says 7.5 is the line for North Carolina. I'd take the under.
Yeah, we got him under.
We've got him under at 6. Like I said, I don't think 7 is out of the realm of possibility there.
Slam that under.
I'm on the under with you.
I don't think 7's out of the realm of possibility either. So yeah, 7. Take the under on 7.5.
Take the under on 7.5. I agree. I mean,
taking an under. Holy shit.
Unless Max Johnson comes out there and just has like his all-time great season, they're not winning 8 games.
He is about 25 years old at this point, so I mean,
yeah, that's a good point.
Right there on that age where some of these quarterbacks have a pretty good season in college, and he doesn't come from an untalented family. If I remember right, Max Johnson is Mark Richt's nephew.
I don't know why that makes him a great quarterback.
Well, you got the family history there.
Yeah. Why?
Mark Richt did coach a couple of Heisman Trophy winners and play quarterback.
Oh.
I mean, that's why people like Arch get all the love that they do. You think he'd have been a 5-star if his last name wasn't Manning?
I think he probably would have been based on his statistics in high school, yeah.
He really played some underwhelming competition.
I don't know. It's hard to say. He might have got that extra star because of his last name. You might be right there, but either way, he's still a good quarterback. I mean, he's still at least he no matter what, he'd have been a 4-star no matter what.
Oh, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I'm exactly what you said. I'm saying he probably got that 5th star because of his name.
Yeah, we'll never know. That's the official pick here. Let me mark this down as official. 6-6 for the Heels. Now, moving on to their in-state rival in the state of North Carolina, my favorite team, NC State. I don't know, who was I listening to the other day that said NC State and Miami in the ACC championship?
NC State and Miami.
Yeah.
Wow. I've heard a lot of Miami and Clemson and Miami and Florida State. Haven't heard a whole lot of Miami and NC State. That's a new one on me.
So another team, NC State, with a transfer at quarterback, Grayson McCall.
Yeah, from Coastal Carolina.
From Coastal Carolina. NC State coming off a good season for them, I think. And 9-4. Not bad. Same record as Clemson last year. NC State beat Clemson. They're on a 1-game losing streak, though. They lost their bowl game. Pretty badly too, if I remember. Great day for Peete. Anyway, they start out the season at home, Western Carolina, on August the 29th. I'm going to give a win to NC State there. I mean, this is silly. Is anybody picking Western Carolina?
Nah.
All right. That's a win for the Wolfpack. Now they're going to turn around the next week. Now, they do play Tennessee. It is an NC... It is an... Oh, that's a neutral site game.
Yes, that game is in Charlotte.
Ah.
So if you want to call Charlotte neutral site.
Yeah. I mean, technically, yes, but no, it's not.
I do think the crowd will be probably pretty even, though. Tennessee tends to travel well.
I would agree with you. Yeah, I think. Well, first of all, this is early in the year. Tennessee always has lofty expectations for their team, and who knows? They might be the best team in the history of man this year. I don't know, but I agree with you. I think it'll be about 50-50, even though it's in North Carolina.
Yeah. Well, it's not like Charlotte is very far from Knoxville at all.
No, it's not. And yeah, essentially this won't be a home field advantage for NC State is what we're saying.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick Tennessee to win this one.
Well, I already let the cat out of the bag. I've got NC State winning this game.
I don't even know if I want NC State to lose every game, no matter what conference they're playing against. This is a win-win for me. If NC State wins, they lost to a middle-of-the-road ACC team according to the SEC fans. If Tennessee wins, fuck Dave Dorn and NC State. So I'm happy either way. I don't think there's an outcome in this game that would make me mad.
Yeah, right. Well, I look at it like this. NC State, even with what they lost, Miami got one of their best defensive linemen. I have no faith in Tennessee's defense, especially if they're trying to run a million miles an hour like they were with Hendon Hooker. If they go back to that with Nico, I'm about to leave you. Yeah, all NC State would need to do is get one or two stops and they can win the game.
Yeah.
Got no faith in Tennessee's defense. Now they're high on their front seven, and they've got an edge rusher that maybe according to some people, maybe the best defensive player in the SEC. And okay, fine, you double team him, threat neutralized. Grayson McCall, obviously the more experienced quarterback, and as great as. And I've gotten in arguments with Tennessee fans over this. No matter what you think Nico is going to be, first-year starters fuck up. It's just what they do. And you can talk about beating Iowa in a bowl game all you want. Nico threw for 150 yards and rushed for less than 30. So nothing he did in that game impressed me.
So I think Tennessee's going to win this game, but I think it's going to be a lot closer than Tennessee fans want it to be.
I mean, these are two tough teams, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I think this will be a good game. Where's it played again?
Charlotte.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
The fact that, again, going back to where it's at, I think the fact that it's in Charlotte favors Tennessee. And it doesn't make sense because it's in North Carolina.
Yeah, right.
But the fact that it's not in Raleigh favors Tennessee. So, I guess we're all on Tennessee on this one.
Yeah.
No, I've got NC State.
All right. Well, you still lost.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I keep losing these elections. I voted twice not to have any kids, and somehow I lost that election too.
Uh-oh. Who are you voting for president this year?
Listen, if y'all can't figure out who I'm voting for president at this point, I don't know what to tell you.
Oh, no. Well, I guess you're about due to win one.
Although I voted for him the last two times, so I'm 50-50 there.
Oh, that's true. All right, moving on. Moving on, Louisiana Tech at NC State. Is anybody picking Louisiana Tech to win this? I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility, but, I mean, especially coming off of what I think is going to be a pretty hard-fought game against Tennessee. You might be banged up, might be emotionally drained, but it still is Louisiana Tech.
Yeah, if they were playing an ACC team, I could see that argument about, big emotional game. And a letdown, but Louisiana Tech, not so much.
All right. Sea Dog.
Get out of here. Go.
You talking to Dave Dorn or your cat?
Yeah, I'll go with NC State.
Okay.
These freaking cats are all over me, man.
Well, that's what happens when you have 18 of them.
Well, we got 3 adopted, right?
Well, if you didn't allow all that fucking going on in your house, you wouldn't have these problems.
I didn't mean to allow it.
All right. NC State at Clemson, September the 21st. This is a game that is typically played later in the season in the ACC between these two hated rivals. And yes, NC State is one of Clemson's rivals in the ACC. That's not even close. I would say Florida State and NC State are the 2 biggest rivals in the ACC. I know Sea-Dog is going to take some offense to that. I'm not meaning to be offensive. I guess what I mean to say is NC State and Clemson, and Florida State and Clemson, to me are the 2 biggest rivals for Clemson. That's just my opinion. But anyway, this is going to be.
You're from what I've seen, everything I've seen from Clemson fans, you're in the minority of that.
I'm in the minority of almost everything, I think. So that checks out.
Yeah.
But let's be real. Over the past 10 years, the Clemson and NC State games have been more competitive than the Georgia Tech and Clemson games,
sure.
with the exception of a few.
Sure. That's fair.
Look, I'll go first here. I wanted to go last, but I'll change my mind here. Look, everybody knows how I feel about NC State and Dave Dorn. I hate them. I hate him. I hate them. I hate everything they stand for. I hate the city they live in. I hate every building that's ever been built there. I hate everything Dave Dorn's ever coached. I don't know if he's ever coached Little League Baseball, but if he did and they were 5 years old, they fucking sucked. But the reality is NC State is going to be a good team this year. I hate them, but I'm not stupid. I think really the fact that this is in Clemson is the only reason I'm picking Clemson. If this game were in Raleigh this season with the 2 teams, I might actually pick NC State to upset Clemson, like they did last year in Raleigh.
Yeah.
But I think this is going to be a close game. These games are always close between these 2 teams, always. And I'm taking the Tigers just because it's in Death Valley. This will probably end up being a primetime game. If what I think Clemson's record is going to be going into this game, what I think North Carolina State's record is going to be going into this game, I think it'll be a highly anticipated game. You have two of the maybe 4 teams, 4 or 5 teams that everybody's talking about in the ACC. It'll be a primetime game. Clemson shows up in primetime and take care of Dave Dorn, which Dabo Swinney really has no problem doing over the history of this rivalry between the 2 of them. So give me the Tigers.
Well, I'm going to give you this one. I'm going to have to bow out because I'm walking up here now.
All right.
But I've got no reason to think, I've been pretty clear on this, I've got no reason to think Clemson's going to get any better because Dabo Swinney really isn't doing anything to make Clemson any better.
Yeah, I'm done with Clemson.
Good to know.
And I'm not a fan of it, by the way. I think the more better teams in the ACC, the better. But I think you're highly overrating your defense. I think they're talented, but they're inexperienced.
It's just not true. You keep saying that.
But it is.
It's not.
Going off snap count, you have a very inexperienced defense.
Okay.
Not a whole lot of snaps taken.
Yeah. There's going to be a total of probably 1 starter on the defense that's a freshman. 1. So I don't know what you're talking about.
I understand that, but you have backups now you have a lot of backups from last year that are going to be starters this year. They didn't take a whole lot of snaps, at least compared to, like I said, other teams in the ACC.
All right. So who are you picking?
NC State.
That's a popular pick.
I'm with you. I think it's going to be a close game. But the fighting Dave Durns.
All right, Sea-Dog, it's up to you. I got Clemson. Slim Shady has the Wolfpack.
This is a tough one, actually. Where's this one being played again?
Death Valley.
Death Valley. I guess I give it to Clemson then. That's the deciding factor for me because.
Well, I'm surprised you said that.
I am done with Clemson, but NC State also they had a great year last year, yeah, but they always freaking fuck it up the next year every time. You know, so it wouldn't surprise me if they had a crappy follow-up year. Wouldn't surprise me at all.
And that does worry me, by the way.
Can somebody in the
NC State just...
Can somebody in the chat or either one of you on the panel here name the last time that NC State beat Clemson 2 years in a row? Or I guess more specifically, when's the last time Dave Dorn beat Dabo Swinney 2 years in a row? I don't think that's ever happened.
Probably not.
Never. It hasn't happened. I'll just go ahead and tell you. 2004. Well, Dabo Swinney wasn't the head coach at Clemson in 2004, so unless you got a time machine. First time for everything, Pete. Yeah, well, is this going to be the first time? I don't think so.
All right, Pete. I'll catch you next week.
All right, see you later, Slim. Thanks for coming on, buddy.
Later, Slim.
Yes, sir.
We'll replace him with one Dylan Mullins. What's up, Dylan?
Hello.
You can
hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Okay, I was just making sure.
All right, we'll let you pick these last few games with us here. So after NC State loses to Clemson, we have now NC State. Look at this. One of the preemptive favorites in the ACC, according to a lot of people, according to the ACC panel, is now 2-3 through 5 games. Losing record after 5 games. Imagine that. But then they get a cupcake game. Well, unless you're Georgia Tech. Northern Illinois at NC State.
You're not going to bring that crap up.
I mean, how could I not?
I don't know. I guess, I'm just glad that coach is no longer with us. That lost to those sons of bitches. You know what I mean?
As much as I hate NC State, this will be a runaway. NC State will stomp them into the ground and win by 30 plus. So I'm gonna say a win for the Wolfpack on this one.
Wolfpack.
Yeah, NC State.
All right, NC State wins against the Huskies. All right, then they get to have another home game against Wake Forest. I think we already feel, or we've already discussed how most of us feel on the panel about Wake Forest coming into this season. NC State, another big win, I think. I think that you have another situation where they win by 3+ touchdowns.
Yep, I agree. Wolfpack.
Yeah.
All right, now we're starting to stack up the W's here. 4-3 for the Wolfpack.
I will say I don't think Wake Forest is going to be that bad, but
okay.
I think it'll probably be pretty good.
So 3 straight home games for the Wolfpack. After Wake Forest, they get to host Syracuse on October the 12th. Another big win. I don't really understand. I know that a lot of people are enamored with some of the transfers that came into Syracuse and the new head coach. But I don't see Syracuse having a good season in the head coach's first year. Give me the Wolfpack big again. They might have 3 blowouts here in a row, all at home. Give me the Wolfpack in this one, too.
Yeah, me too.
Me too.
All right. That's 3 straight wins in a row.
Yeah, they got a kind of easy.
Yeah, their schedule's front-loaded, for sure. Yeah. All right, so after 3 straight wins at home, they travel all the way to the left coast, which some people call the best coast. I don't. NC State at Cal.
NC State.
Yeah, NC State. The only thing that would like make me be like, well, is that they travel, but I mean, I think I give it NC State.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I would love for them to fly 3,000 miles and get curb stomped by by Cal, but I just don't see that happening. I don't even know. Cal might be a 3-win team this year.
Yeah, they're bad.
They're bad. Bad.
Yeah.
So this game won't be close or competitive. So that's 4 straight wins for the Wolfpack, according to the panel here. Now this is a change of events here. Then they get to travel back to Raleigh, and a West Coast team comes to their town, Stanford. And this, poor Stanford. Stanford just joined the ACC, and no wonder they're already trying to get the hell out of there. They're not even officially in yet, I don't think, not till next month, but of course they are in, but they're not officially in. But they have to travel to the East Coast, I think, at least 3 times in the season. I think, I know they travel, I think, to Louisville, to Clemson, and to NC State. There might be another one, too. I don't know. I mean, that is insane. For them to have to travel across the country 3 times, but it is what it is. They're the ones that signed onto the ACC. That's their problem. They knew this before they signed the dotted line. So, but anyway, Stanford's not going to be any good either. They're terrible. So another win for the NC State Wolfpack, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I agree. This is a pretty pathetic freaking run here.
I agree too.
All right. This game might be a little bit more competitive. How many fucking home games does NC State have? I feel like let's go back up here. I'm assuming it's only 7, but it just feels like more. 1, 2, 3. They start out with 3 home games. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, one of them's a neutral site game. That's why. So they have 7 home games and 1 neutral site game in Charlotte. That's the reason I'm seeing that. Anyway, Duke at NC State on November the 9th after what we're predicting to be a 4-game win streak for the Wolfpack, and that's coming off, and that's assuming that they lose to Clemson. If they beat Clemson, it might be a 5-game win streak. What do you think, Sea-Dog? Duke at NC State.
No, I think they handled Duke. Now, perhaps these next games coming up might feel a little different. But I'm gonna give it to Duke for now, or give it to NC State.
Yeah, we're unanimous on that too. That's another win for the Wolfpack. Now their last 2 games aren't as easy as the previous 5 games, in my opinion, for them. Then they have to travel on the road to Georgia Tech in late November. And I don't want to give away my prediction for Georgia Tech right now because we haven't done Georgia Tech yet. But I'll just give you a little hint into the way I'm thinking Georgia Tech's going to be this year. And this might be this year might be the highest I've been on Georgia Tech since we've been doing this show.
All right. That's what I'm talking about.
I won't give you I've already looked at their schedule, and I actually have a win-loss prediction for Georgia Tech in my own mind. It's a lot higher than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
So, give me an upset.
All right.
which I'm assuming it's going to be an upset. It's late in the year, so who knows what's going to happen with either one of these teams, injuries and losses. Who knows? I'm assuming that if what we think is going to happen is going to happen, that NC State will be favored by at least a touchdown or more going into this game. Give me the Yellow Jackets to upset in Atlanta at Bobby Dodd, a loss for the Fighting Dave Dorns.
Hell yeah. I love it.
What do you think, Dylan?
Georgia Tech.
Hell yeah. This is what I'm talking about.
Well, this is we're agreeing on everything now. This is kind of.
That's what I'm talking about. Well, NC State has a very. I mean, most people would pick NC State to win this game. So, you know.
Yeah, and so we picked North Carolina's schedule before this, before NC State. So we already know where we stand on this. I think most of us do. Who did you pick in this game?
NC State.
Yeah, I picked NC State too.
Me 3. All right, so that makes a win. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which is right around the win total in Vegas. I think the win total in Vegas is 9. Is that right? For NC State? We've got them at 8 and 4, which I think is about right. It wouldn't shock me if NC State won 9 games. Here's the difference between 8 and 4 and 9 and 3, in my opinion, for NC State is the Clemson game. If they can go into Death Valley and beat Clemson, they'll be at least a 9-win team, which might. I mean, it's going to be close about the ACC championship, but I think that a 9-win team might have a chance of making the ACC championship this year. Definitely a 10-win team will. I don't think there's going to be more than 2 teams in the ACC that win 10 games. So a 9-win team's going to have a shot based on the tiebreakers and the head-to-heads and all that. So, but we have them at 8 and 4, which I think is about right. I mean, listen, that's about Dave Dorn's average, right? He's about a 7 or 8 win coach over his entire career at NC State. That's just a fact. They won 9 games last year, great season. Got blown out in their bowl game. I think 8 and 4 on deck. Look, here's what's going to happen. NC State will win just enough games to keep Dave Dorn there another couple of years. That's what he's been doing the whole time he's fucking been there.
Yep.
So.
That's very true.
So we have North Carolina 6 and 6 and NC State 8 and 4. It's official. Write it down, stamp it on your forehead, or tattoo it on your forehead if you have to. But if you do tattoo it on your forehead, make sure you tattoo it backwards so that when you look in the mirror, it reads correctly.
We don't miss either.
We don't really miss. I think last year we missed on like out of the 14 teams in the ACC last year, I think we missed on 3 of them. The rest of them were within like 1 game.
Yeah. So smart money's on the ACC panel.
Yeah. Yeah, we know what we're doing over here.
Yes, we do.
All kidding aside, I do think NC State has a chance to compete for the ACC. As much as I hate them, they have a really good team returning. I think it's really going to come down to the quarterback play, in my opinion, with Grayson McCall. I don't know enough about their running game to make a logical statement on that. But if Grayson McCall has a good season, they could win 9 games. If he has a mediocre season, I mean, even without him, as long as he doesn't just play terrible, they're going to win probably at least 7 or 8 games. I don't see NC State being a 6-win team. As much as I would love to see that would be fucking amazing. I think they're a 7 or 8 win team. In the chat, what's the ceiling and the floor for NC State? If anybody types 12-0, I'm kicking you off the channel. But anything outside of that, I'll listen to. Momo 8-4, Joshua 9-3. I think almost all of them are going to be around that. Zona says ceiling 10 wins. Boy, let's go through this schedule again real quick, just like skim through it. But 10 wins. Yeah.
I mean, they don't have like the biggest murderers row, but that Tennessee and Clemson is.
Yeah, because neither one of those are at home for NC State. The Tennessee game is a neutral site. Clemson's on the road. And we're just, we're really just assuming that one of these teams that they're going to be favored against, that they're not going to lose to. I mean, almost every team in America loses to a team they shouldn't lose to at some point.
Right.
So that would be 3. That puts you at 9-3.
Yeah. I think that's more than fair considering their track record of pooping themselves.
Exactly.
Like the next year after having a good year.
Yeah.
It'll probably be more like 7 wins.
I hope so. I mean, I just think it looks like the consensus is somewhere around 8 or 9 wins. That's what's expected out of them.
Right.
So, but chances are they'll lose one they shouldn't. So that might even put them at 7-5.
Right.
There you go. Well, there you have it. Well, we got 2 teams out of the way. And we did it in pretty time. In good time, too. Usually it takes us 2.5 hours to do 2 teams.
Yeah, I mean, well, there's only 2 of us, and then only one guest, I guess.
That helps.
So, yeah. I mean, usually we're like arguing and fighting over who's wrong.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and that might happen more as we get into some of the other teams. Well, I'll just go ahead and name the teams. Here's the teams we're going to fight over: Clemson's schedule, Miami's schedule, Florida State's schedule, Virginia Tech's schedule.
Yeah.
That's the 4 I think we're going to fight over.
I can see that.
Particularly Clemson and Florida State.
I think Virginia Tech, because everybody's high on them, and I'm not as much, so.
So stay tuned for that. I don't know. I'm thinking, what do you think, Sea-Dog? I'm thinking we save those 4 teams towards the end.
Sure.
As we get closer to the end of the season.
Yeah. That sounds fine.
And again, if anybody in the chat has any suggestions on who you want us to do, first, we're going to try to get them all done before the start of the season. But if you have any opinions on who you want to see next week or the week after, we'll listen to them. I see a lot of SMUs in the chat already. Okay. I'm a man of the people. It looks like everyone's just typing in all the new members. That's what they want.
Well, we can talk about them. That's fine.
That's fine. Yeah, I don't care.
How bad I think Stanford's going to suck.
All right, so let's go ahead and nail it down now for next week. How's that sound?
Sure.
Next week we will we'll dive right in head first to SMU and Cal. How's that sound?
Why not throw in Stanford too?
You might just knock all 3 of them out at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they all came in together. They'll all get predicted together.
It'll be like the Special Olympics.
Hey, which one of those teams out of those 3 do you think is going to have the best season? I mean, I don't think it's going to be close. Yeah, okay, SMU. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. All right. So next week we'll do SMU, Cal, and Stanford. Everybody tune in for that. We're gonna go ahead and shut it down for tonight. Thank you, Dylan, for coming on. Is that Dylan? Yeah, Dylan. Thanks for coming on, buddy.
I'll be on. Can I come on next week too?
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. Again, I'm only going to have on like 1 or 2 other people to make this time constraint thing happen. So, Just tune in next week. We'll see.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Dylan checking in. He was being a filler for Slim Shady. Oh. All right, Sea-Dog, we did it. Any final last words before we get off of here?
Nah.
All right, man. How's your thing going? The house.
What? Not the best.
What does that mean?
I'm still in a shack. But I mean, we had we called in inspections and it's an old house, so they wanted a bunch of stuff done that they hadn't mentioned earlier,
Yeah.
Of course. We got a different inspector and he lit our ass up. So,
oh no.
So yeah, so we've been dealing with that.
You got caught by the man.
Yeah. The first inspector was chill and he didn't say anything. Second time we got the guy that's notorious for turning everything down, so
damn.
Unfortunately, yeah, it's slowing everything down. Really sucks.
Do you need me to come and take care of that for you?
That'd be great. That'd be great.
All right. Well, good luck with that.
Thanks.
All right.
I'm going to need it.
All right, Sea-Dog. Appreciate you. Love you, brother. See you next week.
All right, man. All right, I'll see you later, Pete.
All right. All right, everybody, that's going to do it for me as well. Thanks for tuning into the ACC show, starting the predictions this week, and hopefully we can get them all done. I think we can. I think we can do it. Anyway, I'll see you guys all tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. on my second channel for the midday show. Got a couple of things I really want to talk about on there that aren't football related. So if you're not subscribed to my second channel, I do a pretty terrible job of promoting that channel. But it is in the link in the description of this video. If somebody wants to post a link to that, if you're a moderator, go ahead and do that now. But I do a show on there 3 times a week in the morning from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And we have a lot of fun over there. But tune in tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Until then, have a great Tuesday.